Yes, this is a response video to Gothatfunk's video asking about our experiences of receiving the talk and giving the talk of the facts of life. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I grew up in the Lutheran Church, and because of that, when in 6th grade they offered sex education, my parents chose the option of sending me to religious instruction at a church across the street from the public school for that last hour of the school day during this sex education course. So I didn't get any education as far as sex education in the public schools. And of course we didn't talk about it except for sexes for when you're married, so the fact that you're not married, you don't need to know about it yet, so I didn't pursue the information. If I'm not old enough to have a driver's license, why would I study the manual yet? They could change the manual before I get to that point. So I didn't pay attention. I didn't, seek out the information because it's not something I need yet. So by the time I turned 18, I still had no idea. I had learned to masturbate, and I went through a lot of guilt about that. I might have missed the rapture. Because, of course, you're going to do that when you're alone, and if no one else is in the house at home at the time, and then you start worrying, did I miss the rapture? And you somewhat freak out until someone shows up, or you're able to talk to somebody. And so I went along that way when at one point my mother was working at a hospital, and somebody had left a Playboy there in the room when they left their room, when they were done with their stay at the hospital. And my mother brought it home and left it on the buffet and said, hey, if you're interested. And so I did peek at that a few times. Felt too guilty to read anything in there. And there again, freaked out. Did I miss the rapture now? So by the time I was 18, yes, I said 18. By the time I was 18, all of a sudden my mother said, hey, you've got a doctor appointment. Oh, by the way, my parents divorced when I was 10. He chose to go quite in-depth teaching sex education to my older sister. And of course it was pretty much hushed up, so I, really didn't hear much about that. But, so he was around. We had to go to his place, for one day of every weekend. The most boring time of my life, because he'd bring us there and just read the paper while we played with some Lincoln Logs. And even though I was 18, he just kind of expected us to still play with the Lincoln Logs while he read the paper. But so my mom told me, hey, you have a doctor appointment. Okay. Went to the doctor appointment. He pulled out the diagram of the female reproductive system and started telling me what happens. And I did not believe him. I believed that, at that time, I believed that the stuff that came out when I masturbated must absorb through the woman's skin or something. So I was shocked. But since I was 18, I was old enough to go downtown to the Astor Arts movie theater on Hennepin Avenue, paid my money, went in, sat down, and received some education. And I was surprised that it confirmed that there was insertion. And just being there a few minutes, some guy came and sat next to me and offered me $20 for something, and I didn't stay long enough to find out what he was talking about. I was out the door, freaking out. So that was my education, sex education background. Now, when it came as to my 4 children, 3 girls and a boy, my oldest was 12 to 14 years old, something in there. And my wife and I sat down with all 4 of the kids and brought out the diagram of the female reproduction system. I'm pretty sure we had male too, but we told them just the basics and told them that if they had any questions, they could ask us. And I did ask my son this morning if we traumatized him way back when, and he said, well, I was really young, don't remember much, but I do remember, it wasn't boring, but it wasn't interesting. It was just a talk, some information. And so good. I thought that was good. He got the information and we didn't freak him out or anything. So that's how I learned and how my kids learned. Thank you very much.